you know that I've always loved Proverbs? You know, the little message that they preach in such a neat and organised fashion, how they can stand the test of time and translated across the world into hundreds of other languages, and how they're all like 1,000 ways to word them, but they're still all connected and speak a similar message. I remember hearing that you die when you take your last breath, but truly die forever when your name has been spoken for the very last time. If that is true, Proverbs have immortalised people for centuries, as we are still talking about them today. So, to kick things off with a bang, we will go for a nice, well-known one. A proverb my nan actually told me as a child, although I obviously had no idea it was a proverb or what it even meant at the time. But I am talking about the idiom, "A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush." Or some variation of that. That's today's subject. Because it's one of the oldest English proverbs, although it would have most likely been imported from another part of the world, there has been many ways that this has been rewritten over the years, and you might be familiar with a slightly different version, like myself. This proverb, however, like many others, warns against taking risks. It suggests that you should probably keep what you've got and not risk losing it all by going after more. I kind of read it as like not being greedy and just to be happy with what you have. But what did this one mean to you? Of course, there are no right or wrong answers. Everyone will interpret things a little different due to a complex string of variations from your experiences and personalities all the way down to how you may have felt on the day. Interestingly though, the allusion may be to falconry, where a bird in the hand, or the falcon, was a more valuable asset and certainly worth more than two in the bush, the prey. This would make sense at the time, the 15th century, because, just as an interesting side note, falconry was probably introduced to Europe around AD 400 when the Huns and Alans invaded from the east. Frederick II of Hohenstaufen from the 13th century is generally acknowledged as the father of traditional falconry in Europe. But anyway, back to the point, let's take a look at the history. This proverbial saying is first found in English in John Cosgrave's The Life of St. Catherine of Alexandria in 1450 and looked like this. Catherine of Alexandria belongs to the most popular genre of medieval narrative, hagiography, or writings about saints. From the earliest centuries of Christianity, accounts of the lives, deaths, and miracles of the exceptionally holy men and women proliferated. These stories, which were written in Greek or Latin and all the medieval vernaculars, were extraordinarily varied. Some sketched the saint's life in just a few sentences, while others extended thousands of lines of verse or prose on their subjects. Some were full meditations, prayers, and moral and theological exposition, while others were fast-paced and funny, sometimes even racy. Hagiography could serve many different purposes, from affirming Christian dogma to promoting political and social agendas. Though most saints' lives were written by the clergy, they were directed to men and women from all walks of life and indeed were constantly being reshaped to fit the needs and values of new audiences. Then another chap called John Haywood's 1546 glossary, eloquently titled, this, was next to include a variant of the proverb. And that's what you can see on screen right now. So you could probably decode that yourself, but yeah. Interestingly, the next line in Haywood's book, however, is another one of the best known proverbs. Rome wasn't built in a day, however, it did look a little different as well to how we write it today. That's what you can see on screen right now. It's probable that Capgrave didn't coin the expression himself, as many other languages have variants of it. By how long the phrase predates his publication isn't clear either. While very similar proverbs existed in various cultures from antiquity, there is no record of it existing in English in the form we use before the 15th century. Haywood's book is later than Capgrave's, but Haywood's was by far the better known out of the two due to Haywood's prominent position in the Tudor court. Subsequently, it was Haywood who was being credited as the person who basically introduced the proverb to the English-speaking world. But moving out of the English-speaking world, we have the 7th century Imperial Aramaic story of Icar that has text that modern translations render as Better is a sparrow held tight in the hand than 1,000 birds flying about in the air. Bearing a striking similarity, the story of Icar, also known as the Words of Icar, the titular character is a mythical chancellor to the Assyrian kings, in the story of course, and it's a pretty deep book, man, like it's really deep. It's generally like taught in Bible literature still today. The full thing will be linked in the description. Give it a read, let me know what you think. The original is said to be first attested in Imperial Aramaic from the 5th century BCE on papyri. It's said to be one of the earliest international books of world literature. Okay, so next on the list we have Plutarch's Moralia, which has text that modern translations give as "He is a fool who leaves things close at hand to follow what is out of reach." This one is also cool. The title of the book, Moralia, loosely translates into morals and is formally a group of manuscripts dating from the 10th to 13th centuries, traditionally ascribed to the 1st century Greek scholar Plutarch of Corinthia. Mr. Plutarch was a Greek philosopher, historian, biographer, essayist, and priest at the Temple of Apollo, and most importantly, a citizen of Rome. His work, Moralia, contains 78 essays and transcribed speeches that provide insights into Roman and Greek life, but are also timeless observations and offer a unique look into the era of time that they are from. The expression fits well into the catalogue of English proverbs, which are often warnings, especially warnings about hubris or risk-taking. Some of the better-known examples that warn against getting carried away by some exciting new prospects are these: "All that glitters is not gold," "Fools rush in where angels fear to tread," "Look before you leap," "Marry in haste, repent at leisure." So let me know if we should go into any of those in future episodes. That'd be really fun. But continuing on, English migrants to America took the expression with them, and "bird in hand" must have been known there by 1734, as this was the year which a small town in Pennsylvania was founded by that exact name. Like, this is actually true. Other modern day European languages and cultures have their own versions of the proverb. In Czech, it translates to "a sparrow in the fist is better than a pigeon on the roof." In German, this translates to "the sparrow in the hand is better than the dove on the roof." The close similarity of these suggests that one is a translation of the other, but which came first and whether it predated the English version, we can't really be sure, and I don't really think it matters too much. The point remains, it has lasted many languages, cultures, years and generations with the same message intact. For a few words, it sure does say a lot. So thank you for listening. I hope this was somewhat entertaining. A huge thank you to all my Patreons and Prime subs, and to everybody who watches, and especially you if you made it to the end. Let me know if you did. Till next time, stay kiff and surfing clouds. Peace!